been thinking about happiness and what makes people happy, what doesn't, or what makes people sad. And I'm using this term makes, but legitimately you have control over this yourself. So it's not something external to you, it's something internal. And there's a term for these things. And I'm going to give you the term, not because of the jargon, not because the words are important, but because the idea is so important. And I want to explain it. So in psychobabble, we call this internal locus of control versus external locus of control. What that means is that if you have an internal locus of control, that means internally you believe you're in control. If you have a situation that is odd or disheartening or whatever, you believe you can change it. You have an effect on your own life. An external locus of control is like, I don't believe I have it in me to change the situation. Change needs to come from the outside. It's my circumstances that need to change. The economy needs to change. I would need to win the lottery. I need to have something happen to me. And when you have an external locus of control, your happiness, you've given away your happiness, your joy, your contentment to outside factors. You've made a political leader or the economy or somebody else in a relationship that you've given them the power to control whether you're happy or not. That's crazy, okay? Not you're crazy if you've got an external locus of control. That's not what I'm saying. The idea of that is crazy. It's crazy not to believe that you have any control over life. I mean, that's we can look around us and see that people do have control over their lives. If you want the key to happiness, if you want to be happy consistently in life, you need to develop an internal locus of control where you sincerely believe, that you have an ability to control your destiny, that you have an ability to control your day, to impact your day, to have influence over your relationships, over your weight, over your finances, over your happiness. When you believe that you have power over these things, when you believe that no one makes you anything, the economy doesn't make you anything, when you are in control, that gives you a sense of freedom. Would you like that sense of freedom? Wouldn't you want to live with that kind of freedom? And here's a quick measure. You can measure whether you've got an internal versus an external locus of control by whether you buy lottery tickets. Do you rely on others? How much do you use the word, "you make me so angry"? When you use those types of words, and when you trust things outside of yourself, when you're hoping for luck, that's your key to success. Because in external locus of control, when you think that everything outside of you is going to fix you or hurt you, or that's where everything changes, you're going to rely on that. That's where your hope exists. Where does your hope exist? Does your hope exist that some outside factor, some spiritual force, or some lottery or whatever, that's the only hope that you have of happiness? You're going to be sad a long time. That's going to be frustrating at many times, okay? Because it's an easy way out in some ways. The more difficult thing is an internal locus of control where you're working towards your own success, but it is so much more satisfying, so much more satisfying. What I want you to do today, this week, this month, whatever, is to start paying attention to your words and people's words around you. Pay attention to how they talk about things. Is that situation the kind of situation that they go, well, it just sucks to be me. For the next decade, I'll have to suffer through it. When you go for an interview, or somebody else goes for an interview, do they go, I've got this, or I've prepared well, so I'm going to get this? Or do they use that kind of language? Or do they say things like, well, I sure hope it works out. I sure, like they simply throw it up to destiny and go, I sure hope, whatever. Do you ask great questions of yourself? Do you notice other people asking great questions of themselves? Do people ask questions like, what could I do differently next time? Okay. That question is a beautiful question. It's saying, I've got control of this. So what can I do? Now, you got to be careful with questions. Questions can also lead to beliefs and repeat certain beliefs like, what am I going to do to mess it up this time? That's a terrible question, right? Because it's assuming you will mess it up. work with these things. Become more self-aware. As you become more self-aware, you have the ability to change a situation. Until you become more self-aware, you don't have much of an ability to change something. All right, work on this, learn from it, grow in it. Give me feedback. Ask me. Throw in the comments whether there's a question that you think about and whether it's a good question or not, or how people interact with you. Explore this and enjoy the process.